We watched that.
Yes,
We just
exactly.
sat there for 3 hours and watched you guys sleep your way through a 3-0 loss. Don't say you played well.
Well, that's exactly it. It's like he's trying to tell someone that didn't just watch the game. He goes, no, actually,
Yeah.
don't look at the score. We played well. It's like, no, we watched the game. You didn't play well.
On today's Good Buds episode, we talk peaks and valleys in the season, and we are in the midst of a valley. Mitch Marner puts his foot in his mouth again. Sheldon Keefe returns to Toronto, which should be exciting, something to look forward to. God of the Week. Is there one?
Oh.
Nope. This is Egregious, Numbers Game 2.0, and news around the league. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 48 of the Good Buds podcast, a show about the Toronto Maple Leafs, not weed, but weed is tight. My name is Joey Belfiore, here with Andrew Bascom. And what to talk about this week?
What's the first thing that we could talk about? Oh, God.
We've had a lot of positive episodes this year, and it just does not feel like that one.
No, it feels like they're going through it right now. Not feels like, it looks like. They are not playing well right now. They're still first in the Atlantic, but Florida's really creeping up there, only 3 points back. They're second in the Eastern Conference and a big week of games coming up, but man, they are just not playing well.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with the game in Carolina.
Sure.
And Carolina's had the Leafs number for the last few years.
Yeah.
So it was kind of surprising and nice to see us jump out to that real quick start, you know? 2-0 within the first 8-10 minutes.
Yeah.
William Nylander had 3 odd man rushes, 2 breakaways, and finally gets some monkey off his back. He's been fighting through it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And you thought, okay, this is going to be great. You know, Carolina's a top team. We had won 5 in a row at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe we are just, this good.
Oh, right.
Where we
Yeah,
can
that
go
we can.
into a Carolina building. Carolina's so good at home and just dominate them.
Right.
And then it changed. And then it changed really quickly.
It did, and it is nice to see Nylander, get the monkey off his back, like you're saying, because it's just the problem with William Nylander is when he's not playing well or he's not super engaged, and engaged usually means chances and scoring and all that kind of stuff. He does get lost. He gets lost in the shuffle, and that's just the downside of his play. And you become everyone's uncle, and you're like, he's not trying hard, he's all the kind of stuff. But so much of that is equated into into quantifiable things like chances and stuff. So it was nice to see that, because he would have been pretty high on this shit list too, going into what this bad stretch was. But you're right, the lead just evaporates quickly, and it's kind of been like that since. It's just been that level of play since the lead.
Yeah, Carolina scored 2 in 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, it became the Jordan Staal hat-trick night, which was annoying. And it just never really seemed... It was a weird game. A lot of quick, one team scores, the other team scores right back.
Yeah.
But there was just a point where after you let Carolina right back into it, you were like... I don't know if you had this feeling, but I just kind of felt like, oh, we're not winning this game. It does not feel a game that, even though we're right there, it's a 1-goal game, which it was, or it was tied for a lot of it. It just did not feel like we had the juice, I guess.
Yeah.
And you're right with Nylander. Sorry, I was just gonna say you're right. When he is playing well, the puck is like a string on a stick. It's all over his stick. He can dominate possession, and we just haven't seen that for a little bit.
No.
It is encouraging to see the breakaways, but at the end of the day, 6-3 loss is a 6-3 loss.
Yeah, 100%. And I forget, this might have been a Don Cherryism, but breakaways are a result of you probably not playing the best defense, because you usually immediately slinking off, and it's just one of those things where William Nylander gets breakaways and you're like, yeah, I can imagine why. Yeah, I can kind of see why he gets more than others. And that game, that effort and that level of play goes right into that Vancouver game too, because it's just they're not showing up. I understand we can make every argument about goaltending and not having Stolarz, and they give Wall the night off, who had been pretty good. They had won 5 straight with him. And then to go to Hildeby, didn't have his best game. That's, I don't know what more we need to say about that. Less than the first goal, and then it just feels like it was like a house of cards crumbling down from there.
Yeah, it's, you know what, I don't want to put too much on Hildeby. Yeah, it was a first shot goal, the Freddie Anderson curse. It was a tip-in. Tip-ins are, especially on fresh ice when, as a goalie, those first few minutes before really the ice gets carved up, it's really easy to slide in. I think tip-ins, the holes just become that much bigger when you're moving side to side.
Yeah. That
being said, I'm not going to fault him too much just based on the fact that Vancouver didn't have that many shots.
Nope.
We were just fucking asleep. We were asleep and could not get anything going. And did not give Hildeby a chance, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, the reason we lost is because we didn't start Wool that night.
Yeah, no.
It was more just where the fuck were we?
Yeah, and even the small moments of a home crowd that, were cheering in the second period of okay, this might turn it a little bit because they just started playing well and whatever, and immediately give up a goal again. And I will say, once again, not putting it on Hildeby, this one it bounced twice and then bounced over his head. It's well, okay. I don't know really what you want him to do on that one, whatever. But it just absolutely, there is no momentum. There's no forward motion. It feels just dead, dead on arrival kind of thing. And usually you can get the one-man rush or somebody just puts it on their back and, gets going and stuff like that. And it just doesn't feel like that's happening right now. And I understand that this, I don't know what you think about this. Is this the conversion? We lose the high-flying, Sheldon Keefe style where, our offense was really dangerous all the time. And even when we were down, you're down 2, the classic thing where you would be down 2, pull our goalie, score 1, and lose by 1. But we were always at least a threat to be scoring and to keep in the game close or to come back. And just with this, with the offense, especially 5-on-5 and the power play, which we'll get to in a second, it just doesn't feel dangerous. It feels like once we're down, it's shit, this might be it,
Yeah, I think, this team is obviously, the good that we've seen of it is being very defensively responsible. But when we are chasing,
right,
and when we don't have our legs, teams that are fast, teams like Carolina and Vancouver who are, who win based off speed and controlling the play, kind of like how we used to win.
Yep.
We are lost. We cannot catch up with them. When Carolina tilted the ice, it just seemed like we were on wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels weirdly hopeless, too. In both games, once the momentum shifted, not for a second, I'm usually we do that thing, Joey and I being gambling boys, that we would do, Leafs go down. Oh, great, now we finally get good odds. Here we go, I can bet on Leafs.
Yeah.
That does not happen with these, especially in the last couple of weeks with this current team. They go down and you go, yeah, we might stay down. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a style of play or what, but it does really give that strong feeling of going down and then going, I don't know if we're going to come back here.
It seems obviously every season, you get your peaks, you get your valleys. I just this is a valley right here. We are, and it's, because we're a good team, a valley is a 2-game losing streak, which is great.
Yeah.
But when it's 2 games like that, it just really sours your goddamn mood. We gave up 18 shots against Vancouver. We had 20 shots on net. We lose 3-0. And Mitch Marner says we played well. And I'm going to get into This Is Egregious because...
Oh, This Is Egregious.
We'll do it now.
This is egregious! This is egregious!
Right, Mitch. Yeah, man.
Dude.
I really like Mitch Marner. I know he steps in it a lot with the media. I feel like he has this sort of choosing the wrong words. We even have a soundbite for our other segment that it's
yes.
Mitch Marner choosing the wrong words.
Yeah.
This was where it's just you have Chris Tanev who comes out and was like, yeah, they outworked us. They were better than us. We deserve to lose that game. And then you have Mitch Marner saying, I thought we played well. I don't care how well you played. If you lose 3-0, don't tell the media you thought you played well. That's the whole point of being in this market is they're going to tear you apart for that shit, Mitchy. Has he not learned anything?
He feels intentionally hostile when he does something like that. He's almost expecting the reporters to go tough game tonight, didn't have your best. And he goes, no, we did have our best. Fuck you. And it's it feels weirdly he's waiting for that thing, so he gets out in front of it to go, no, you can't say that. We played well. It's what the fuck, man?
Yeah, and like, listen, Mitch Marner has had an unbelievable year.
Yeah.
He is, he might even push for a Hart finalist.
Sure, yeah.
The way he's
talking
been
about
playing.
this last week, yeah.
It's just it's that shit where you're like, we don't want to hear it. The media is licking their chops because now they have everything in the world to write.
Yes.
But it's the people who haven't been on your side, Mitch, are quick to pounce, and the people who have are just like, no, why?
Yeah. Shut up.
Why are you saying that again?
I don't know what he is expecting to get out of saying something like that. Like, is he expecting to, like, no, we played well, and everyone goes, oh, okay, they played well. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't, like, change people's thinking about this? Like, no, you're not. You know what the reaction is going to be. I just don't know why. He's very childish sometimes, like, and he's not a kid anymore.
He's not a kid anymore.
No.
And yeah, it's you practice for these answers, and a lot of the times you get with hockey players, with athletes in general, you get generic answers.
Yes.
With every question, very seldom are you going to see these athletes who are actually honest with you about anything, whether it's injuries or the way they played. It's a lot of the same shit. We're playing a good team over there. Yada yada yada.
Pucks
but
in
just
corners,
don't make us don't treat us like idiots. Is what I think that pisses us off. You know what I mean? Like we watched that.
Yes,
we just
exactly.
sat there for 3 hours and watched you guys sleep your way through a 3-0 loss. Don't say you played well.
Well, that's exactly it. It's like he's trying to tell someone that didn't just watch the game. He goes, no, actually, don't look at the score. We played well. It's like, no, we watched the game. You didn't play well. Like, nice try. It's like, I always kind of say that now, like, Tom Brady's doing NFL games, and he does it like he's doing radio. Like, he just tells them, like, every little thing is happening. He's like, well, KB, you want to make that catch? It's too bad he didn't bring that down. And it's like Mitch Marner doing the same thing of, like, you didn't watch the game? We played well. It's like, oh, you did? Okay, good. Well, that's too bad we lost then. No, Mitch, like, that sucks, dude. I just don't know. Like, it's such an not unintentional, excuse me. It's very intentional. But it's just, like, unnecessary. You're stepping at it for no reason. Like, you're not going to win. What is winning in this situation? Oh, it's so silly.
Can you for once say, no, we played like shit?
Yeah,
Just we played like shit. We need to be better. That's all we want to hear.
Then there's ownership involved, and then it looks like you do care a little bit, which is so funny because that's the opposite of how he's trying to get across. Part of the reason too that they've been playing poorly, or part of the reason in the whole season too, is this power play, and he is on that power play maybe more responsible than anyone else about how that puck is facilitated. And so for him to say they played well, it's like, well, I could tell you in one area very specifically you did not. That power play is god awful.
I don't even know what to say about it anymore, man. Like, it's so fucking bad.
It's so bad.
You had your little... It obviously started terribly. We ended the season terribly, and it started terribly. And then you had your little, okay, when Austin got injured, it seemed like people were stepping up. They finally got going. They took like their 8% and brought it all the way up to 20. But right now we're sitting at 20.6, which is good for 19th in the league, which for the cast of characters that you have on this team is straight up unacceptable.
Yeah. It's in we Joey, when we were doing this podcast last year, we were like, man, this power play not good. Like, just it's clunky and all that kind of stuff. I would kill to have that power play back last year. It was a top 5 power play, and the weirdest part about this is nothing has changed. It's the same 5 guys. Now there is one. The players haven't changed. How about that? But there's the coach, Mark Savard, former NHLer, is the new assistant. He's Berube's power play guy. He's Berube's special teams guy. That is the one change. And whatever they're doing, and they made that little switch for a brief period where they put in Nyes for a 5-forward power play instead of Riley. But, like, this is the same 5 people that had a great power play last year, and I just can't explain why they look like they haven't met before. Like, they need to introduce themselves.
It looks the same. Yeah. Like, so the power play last year fell off a cliff around this time. Like, the first half of the year was fantastic, and then it just fell off a cliff. And it has looked horrible ever since. And when you're like, yeah, we've gotten rid of Guy Boucher, we brought in Mark Savard, you're hoping with a different person you're going to see a different power play. It looks the fucking same.
It does.
And what drives me goddamn nuts is that every fucking post-game interview, it's like, yeah, well, we need to attack the net more. Then do it. Because what we've been doing is pass around the perimeter. literally from Riley to Marner to Matthews to Nylander. If Riley is your only defender, or if Marner's playing as the defender, as the fifth forward, he's playing up top, right? So you've got that triangle where you're just passing it around the perimeter, waiting for something to open up. No one is taking a shot on net. You have the greatest goal scorer on planet Earth and another one who can score 40, and no one is attacking the net. And then they ask them about it, and they're like, yeah, we need to be more direct. We need to attack the net more. Then do it, because it's driving everyone insane. You have a team that is so good, built with such an offensive cast, and you're putting that crap out on the ice. I know we're in first. I know I'm overreacting right now. But it's goddamn upsetting that this power play is now a year of being a sack of shit with the money that's spent into it, with the talent that's on it.
Yep.
Change something.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I agree with you that how frustrating it is to hear when they identify the problem and then change nothing about it. But it's, and I do want to say, for anyone that's like, you guys are being too dramatic about this, we're playing great and all this kind of stuff. Okay, no argument here. But this is one of those few things that we could talk about. That we get to the playoffs and the game changes. Oh, the game changes in the playoffs and the Leafs don't have the play for it. This is one of those things that really matters. The power play not playing well and us getting 3 advantaged chances, and not being able to score on them when we all know that the issue in the playoffs has been that we just don't score. This is the thing we can practice for the next 4 months as we get ready for the playoffs. That's what drives me crazy, because we're going to have the same fucking conversation in April, and then we're going to be like, oh, it's so weird. The power play was bad. The power play's been bad all year, man. Drives me crazy.
And conversely, the penalty kill's been amazing.
Yeah.
We're third in the league. Thank you, Lane Lambert.
Yes.
Thank you, Lane Lambert. You have amazing hair, and you have an awesome penalty kill.
Yeah. American Psycho, Lane Lambert.
Yeah. So it's just, because you're 100% right, man. Like, in the playoffs, nothing is given.
Yeah.
Right? These 6-3 games become 2-1 games. So these power play opportunities just become so much more important.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know. It's frustrating because we can just see the future in this one. And unless they do something about it, which I don't know what it is. Mark Savard's not going anywhere. These 5 guys are, of the 5 guys on the team are not going anywhere. And they're not going to demote any of them. So
that's the problem, though, right? You're like, they got to fucking demote one of them to PP2. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I know, and I understand what they were saying with the Nyes thing. I get why that makes sense, because he can stand in front of the net. He's good at tipping, as we've talked about all week for some reason. I don't know why that was the big thing to talk about this week, that Matthew Nyes and Ryan O'Reilly were very good friends, and they learned how to tip the puck together or something like that. It's the weirdest story. But, that makes sense, because that is something we're missing right now. Yes, we are getting lots of shots from the outside. I'm saying that hypothetically because we don't shoot the puck. But hypothetically, that is what the style of this power play should be. They're getting a lot of shots from the circle. But we don't have a lot in front of the net, and I don't know if that's Tavares, but he's playing great. I don't know.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, if you're like, okay, put Nyes up on PP1 and move that, he takes Tavares' spot. Tavares, I don't find, is the problem.
Yeah.
I think Tavares is having a fantastic year, and the problem on the power play is Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. And Morgan Riley when he's out there. Yeah, it's terrible with Morgan Riley when he's out there. But Austin Matthews, I'm sorry, I have to hold you at a higher standard at this point in time. Shoot the puck, man.
Shoot the goddamn puck.
You have 2, whether you're on the left flank or the right flank. When you're on the right flank, you can wind up the one-timer. We're not seeing it. And when you're on the left flank, you have a wrist shot that can beat anyone in the world. Released from any sort of spot, whether it's going 5-hole or up top.
Yeah.
Do that. Because it's just passing back and forth, and the defense is zeroing in, and it seems like I'm taking crazy pills watching this goddamn power play.
I know, and you're not taking crazy pills, because something we used to say last year all the time is, how does every other team create space for their star? If you close your eyes right now, and I said, Alex Ovechkin, what does a goal look like for Alex Ovechkin?
Yeah.
You could close your eyes and you could figure out exactly what I'm talking about without me describing it. David Pasternak, same thing. They create space for their stars to where the defenders are away. How are we not doing without Austin Matthews? On The Athletic today, Jonas Siegel has an article about how William Nylander needs to shoot more, just in general, but mostly on the power play. And you're like, yeah, well, sure, they all need to shoot more, to be honest, but it's really Austin Matthews. He's the best goal scorer in the world. Why is he not getting 4 attempts a power play alone?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So, yeah, that is got to be number one with a bullet of the issues that are plaguing this team right now, because scoring, 20.6 on the year, 19th in the league, just not good enough when you're assigning this much money and this much talent to 5 power play players.
Yeah, it's not good enough. And
nope.
sorry to keep piling on, but like last week, I feel like solely because we had that Morgan Riley overtime goal, we were like, we're not going to say anything.
Yes. Biting our tongue.
And it's been really bad.
It's been really bad. Morgan Riley's underlying numbers, his actual numbers, all of it is just not. There is very few good spots that you can highlight. And I just before we're going to actually talk about his actual play, the thing that's going to drive me crazy, Joey, is we're going to get back into the fucking trade deadline again, and then we're going to go, we need to get somebody that can play with Morgan Riley. And you're like, we're paying Morgan Riley so much money, and he's the leader of the team. How in the world do we need to find someone specific to play with him? Shouldn't the skill be that he can play with anybody? But that is completely the opposite of the way it is. And I feel like the whole time in Toronto, all we've done is, we need to find someone that can play with Morgan Riley. That's insane.
I feel like that was thought to be the answer in the first few years, and now it's just like, we need to find someone that Morgan Riley can play with.
Oh, God.
It's the flip of the question, right? Like,
yeah,
you're like,
right.
We've sewered him, whether we've given him Ron Hainsey or Jake Gardiner or Cody Ceci. And now you're just like, at what point are you the problem, man? At what point is, like, but the other side to it is, I'm not going to sit here and say we need to trade Morgan Riley because we're not going to do that. Let's be realistic. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way in hell.
Yeah, he just signed that contract last year. It literally is starting next year, which is also terrifying. And like, so I have written down here, I forget who posted it, but I can't stop thinking about it, is Morgan Riley DeMar DeRozan. And I'll explain this a little bit if you don't follow basketball and you're listening. DeMar DeRozan was a longtime Toronto Raptor who was a good player. I think he was undoubtedly a very solid player that put up lots of numbers, and the team had a lot of winning when he was there with Kyle Lowry and other players.
Top 3 Raptor of all time, probably.
Oh yeah, probably. He's up there with numbers and stuff like that. It's like him, Vince, and Kyle probably. But one off season, the GM, Masai Ujiri, traded DeMar DeRozan, our best player arguably, for Kawhi Leonard to get 1 year of Kawhi Leonard. We know what happens. They win a championship. And DeMar DeRozan continues to be a pretty good player, but his teams have never really had a lot of success. Is this the kind of thing where we're okay with a B+? And I'm going to be generous this season because he's not putting out a B+. But let's say Morgan Riley in general is a B+ player. Are we okay with that? And that's actually stopping us from achieving more success.
I mean, I understand the comparable.
Yeah.
I just, putting my, like, realistic hat on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't see. He's got a full no move, does he not?
Yeah, he does. Yes.
He's not going anywhere. Like, he's not. The entire team has full no moves, and it's not that I want to see someone come in instead of Morgan Riley, like, and trade him away. It's just like, maybe we don't. He does not need to be playing the minutes that we are giving him.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's okay. Yeah. That's the other side of it. If it's not an external thing, like. If it's not an external thing like he's getting traded, then the internal thing is the situations we put him in or the minutes we give him should change.
Yeah. I think that's the only realistic change.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. He's clearly not going anywhere. You'd have to have like such a conversation with him to be like,
it's not going to happen. There's no chance in hell that's going to happen. So it's like, what can you do from within?
Yeah.
And if that's putting 5 forwards on the power play, which has not worked.
No.
I don't know. Maybe it's time to try OEL back up there. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Something though, right? Like we gotta try something because it's just not working. I agree with you. And the real fear about this contract too is Morgan Riley signed it and he was playing really well, and so you go, yeah, okay, this makes sense. He's gonna age and he's gonna be a Leaf for the rest of his life. And now it's like, God, he's not playing well, and there's years and years and years left on the contract, and God, it might be an albatross. Like we'll find out later. Who knows? Maybe ages into a different kind of player, but like it might be a real anchor around our neck.
Or positively, maybe he's just fighting through it, and all of a sudden it's gonna click in fucking March, and in playoff Morgan Riley's gonna emerge again.
Yes.
And
he scores a goal, and then you say out loud, "I'm never criticizing Morgan Riley
again."
Yeah.
I lied.
I'll see you in 18 months. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. Whatever. You know what? You've already done your egregious. I'm gonna pop in my egregious right here. And it's about the scheduling, because things have calmed down a little bit. We are now starting to see kind of a more regular schedule of our 3 games a week. It's usually, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, which is exactly what we have this week. And it's another highlight that we brought up earlier in the year, and I wanted to make sure I looked it up because we were talking about, God, does it feel like we're playing a lot of back-to-backs? And you know what? The answer is, yes, we are. And in so much more than any other team, it's actually crazy. Through 41 games this season, I think we've played 42
or 43.
43, yeah. Through 41 games, 20 of them have been in back-to-backs. That's
wild.
Insane. Half of the games have been involved in a back-to-back. That is crazy. There's just no way that any other team is facing this. And so when you talk about injuries or the guys being tired or things like that, you don't want to ever create excuses, but it does make you think, ooh, okay, they might be dealing with something that maybe any other team is not dealing with, which is just crazy. So that's egregious.
I wonder if that calms down towards the end of the year.
Did we go was it all just bunched up in the beginning and now actually our schedule might be quite good, which that might actually be a pro in a weird way. So I don't know.
Yeah. That is a lot. That's way too many. That's way too many. Week ahead.
Yeah.
We got Dallas tomorrow. I mean, we played Dallas very well, but Dallas is a very good team. So it's like, can we stop the bleeding? Can we just plug this 2-game losing streak and just keep it at 2?
Yeah.
Playing a team you usually play well against, that's a good sign of a way to flip it. Thursday, it's a big one. I am excited.
Oh, nice.
I specifically picked this game because I am a Sheldon Keefe truther.
Yeah. So you're going to go in a Devil's jersey or what?
No, I'm going to go and I'm going to give him a nice standing ovation when they do the commercial break video board thing.
Oh, that'll be nice, yeah.
And I'm just going to yell, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
Still love you.
Still love you,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Sheldon is like, I loved Sheldon Keefe. I think he got the wrong. He had it bad here in terms of the way people, thought of him.
Right.
I don't think he was the issue, and now we're seeing with Brube, like, it's going really well. Like, people are like, yeah, Sheldon was the issue. I still don't buy into that. I think he's a really good coach, and it's clearly showing. Look at New Jersey; they're playing insanely well.
They're better than us in the standings. Or
yeah,
actually tied with us. Excuse me.
Just one of those things where we moved on. It's like a partner that you broke up with amicably. In my mind, that I'm gonna it's like you see them, and you give one of those like,
knowing nods. Yeah.
There's no animosity here.
No,
I
you
just
want
hope
them
you're
to do
well.
Yeah. But exactly. But you want them to do well. But when they do well, you still go, good for them. But it still
good for them.
A little bit. Yeah.
I'm gonna be chirping.
That's good. That's
but
fun.
When the video board happens, I'm definitely gonna be standing up and.
Good for you. That's great. That's gonna be a good game to go to. Two of the best 3 teams in the Eastern Conference playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. We do that with Berube, and we're like, yeah, it's like Berube's, there's been a lot of success. Maybe it was Keefe's fault. And we go, no, I don't think so. And then you see all the success Keefe has had with New Jersey, and you're like, you know what? It was Lindy Ruff's fault.
Yeah.
I'm so sure of it because it's going well with the Sabres this year. So.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
And then, Montreal on Saturday. Montreal's been playing so well.
Okay. I was almost going to bring this up as one of our segments, but they are playing well. They previously just won 8 of 10 games, which is crazy. There's so much so that they are now just on the outside of the playoff picture, depending on who's playing that night. They could be a little bit in, they could be out, whatever. Those 10 games, though, are against hilariously bad opponents. Like, I will say, it's just there is a little bit of fake momentum to that where you go, hey, winning's winning. Winning's tough. We lose to bad teams all the time. That's just being a Leafs fan. So you got to beat bad teams, and which Montreal did. But there is a little bit of smoke and mirrors with that.
Yeah, it's just interesting because I think the bottom, like the wild card in the bottom of the East is so close. So if it stays this way, it could just wind up who is hot at the end of March gets in.
Honestly,
and that could be anyone at this point, which is interesting. It makes it interesting.
It does make it interesting. And God, would it be nice, though, to show up to Montreal and to beat the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday night in Hockey Night Canada. Like,
God, it would be nice. God of the week. Let's just do this and get it over with.
Let's do it.
Obviously, we're looked upon as... kind of gods here, to be honest.
All right, this is gonna be quick for me. My God of the week is no one because we played like shit, and I don't want to give anyone the God of the week. Done. Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, that's a first time for everything, eh? The God of the week is nobody. You all suck. Think about your actions. Get back to me next week. My God of the week is going to be that the Indigenous jerseys are back, which are awesome. And I've made that very clear that I love them and I wish they would sell them because I like the color scheme. I like the logo. I like everything about it. The idea behind it is very nice. And this is one of those, like, it feels like when we were growing up, there were 2 Leafs jerseys. And there was a blue one, and there was a white one. And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, you know, we used to be called the St. Pat's, and I go, I hate this, because I hate that it breaks up the crowd into different colors. Now there's green. Now we have black, and we have the Toronto Arenas, and we have, oh my God, it's just, whatever. It sucks. This is the greatest version of doing a third jersey. The way it follows the color scheme we currently have close enough that it doesn't break up the color scheme. They're good-looking jerseys, and they're for a good cause. And I just love that, you know, the NHL, not always the greatest for, it turns out, for progressive action or anything like that, because they used to have Pride Nights, and people are like, no. And they're like, okay. But military nights, everyone's like, yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, that's
Don't you
weird.
dare badmouth the military.
Yeah, like,
that crosses the line.
yeah, our gay soldiers are very confused about these actions. Yeah, whatever. It's all very weird. This is really cool that this one survived. So my God of the week is that they're back, and I think they're cool, and I wish they.
It's the same one as last year, right? I'm just looking at them right now. Yeah,
it is
it's the same one as last year.
And they have a really cool video, if you want to see it too, about Berube and his indigenous background. His grandmother was Cree, and so his nickname, the Chief, and where that came from and stuff like that. And so they have a little video package on the Leafs Instagram about that. So it maybe hits a little bit closer to home than it did in the past, and that's pretty cool. So yeah.
Why don't they sell them?
I don't know. There might be, like, God knows if they could make money on it, the Leafs would be selling them. So
yeah.
I'm no doubt it's not that. I'm sure it's something to do with maybe rights or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Just like, why can't you just get your hands on one of them if you wanted one?
I know, and I would be surprised they wouldn't just sell them and go like, yeah, all the profits go to like a certain organization or something like that, and then people would be like, oh, okay, now this $350 Fanatics dollar jersey is like making more sense to me. So
$350, you're talking $700.
But I think I got a T-shirt for $350. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, maybe they're like, because they're all warm-up jerseys, right? Maybe they're auctioning them off. That's my guess.
That might be it for rarity or something like that, or I don't know. Maybe they're, yeah, like I said, like it's
like the blue toonie. It's like
yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
In like 10, 20 years, you're going to be like, damn, you got one of those.
I am such a sucker for that. When they have the black one, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, what?
The black toonie?
Yeah, they have the black outer ring, and I'm like, whoa.
The black outer ring, I've never seen that. I'm seeing the new one that's going around now with the blue inside. The blue.
I've not seen.
It's like the jelly donut, but it's blue instead of gold.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I haven't seen that one. No, I get that. I've seen the black one a couple times, and I don't know why it really matters. But you know, coin collecting's a huge thing, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You want to do numbers game?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do a numbers game.
Speaking of numbers.
Based on the coin collecting. Yes. A new version of the same game from last season where I pick and my screen went down. I'm going to pick a number that from Leafs history, and Joey's got to name 2 players that have worn it in the past. You cannot name a player that is currently on the roster, and here we go. Wow, good, smooth. Don't edit that out. All right, this number I'm going to go with what is this? 21 players have worn this in Leafs history, and no current Leafs are wearing it. It is number 33.
Oh.
So a lot of players, but maybe not the biggest
one.
players. Okay. I know you'd get, yeah, okay. There is a lot of players from 2008 on. I would say actually the majority of the players that have worn this number are from 2008 on. That's why I wanted to use it.
Huh.
It's not fun when all the numbers are from like the 60s. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. 33. Okay, I love the number 33 because I grew up a big Patrick Waugh fan.
Ah, there we go.
But now I'm
a big number in sports in general. Larry Bird, Patrick Waugh.
I'm having a tough time thinking of a second one.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder who you went with for your first one, because
I went with a random guy. I went with a real random guy.
There is a lot of random guys where you go, oh, right, that guy. So in this number.
Shit.
Including one actual genuine star from the 80s that wore it as well. Star might not be. I would say iconic player because he's not really a star, but he's got like a couple things.
Probably not going to get an 80s guy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you my one.
Okay. And then
in the next 10 seconds, if someone else comes to me, I'll say it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to forfeit the 5. Bates Battaglia wore number 33.
Wow, Bates Battaglia, yes, wore it 2007, 2008. He wore number 33. I was wondering if that was the player you're going to get. There is a few other players.
Shit.
This is a tough one.
It is a tough one. Good job. Fuck.
Thank you.
All right, I guess I'm wasting everyone's time. So we'll chalk this one up to donation. Now $20.
Very good. All right, so other players you could have named. The iconic player I was saying he played 6 years in Toronto is Al Iafredi, the man with the mullet and the slap shot. Al Iafredi wore number 33.
Any other hints from recent guys?
Okay, so this is from the 2010s, late 2010s. He was a Marley, and I would say his Marley stint is maybe more famous than his actual Toronto Maple Leaf stint from 2017-2020. I think he's in the minors now, in some team. I don't think he's playing an NHL roster. He has a good nickname.
Josh Levo didn't wear 33, did he?
No, Josh Levo did not.
That grumpy asshole.
Yeah. Okay, how about this one? This player wore number 33, and we traded for him to be a backup or third goalie in 2021. I think we played him recently, too, actually. He has a good nickname as well.
David Riddick?
David Riddick. Very good.
Big save, Dave. Fuck, I should have been thinking goalies. I'm such an idiot. Austin Matthews has me all turned around picking a goalie number.
Yeah, seriously. From the other numbers, Wade Belak wore it for 1 year, amazingly, after Bates Patel.
Oh, because he's more famously a three. Just three.
I know. I wonder who was there in 2008 that he had to switch. But we had that. Bob Wren in 2002, Craig Johnson, Tim Erickson, and the other bigger player, played for 3 years and is very commonly associated with Sheldon Keefe in my household, is Frederick Gauthier, the GOAT. Player was number 33 as well.
First round draft pick.
And the MVP of the Calder Cup run. So,
damn.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. 33.
Oh well.
$10 in.
You had this news. You wrote Leaf fan punched in Philly. I didn't see this. What happened?
You didn't see the video? Okay, I will tweet this out from the Good Buds account. They're after the Philly game. Him and a friend are in Leafs jerseys in Philadelphia, standing up by the glass, facing the fans who are leaving. I would say it's quite a bit after the game, and they're just kind of waving, we did it, whatever. A guy just walks 4 rows down and just pops him right in the nose. And the Toronto fan, covering his face, just points at the usher, and the usher, yeah, walking him away. Which I imagine this is a very Philadelphia interaction in general, that the usher has seen 1,000 times. He didn't even jump him. He was like, yeah, no, come here, time to go. And I just couldn't get over the idea that, when you go to another, no matter the sport, when you go to another arena or stadium, you want to be loud, but you also want to be respectful. This guy, I'm not going to say asked for it, but definitely had it coming. That the way and the guy you're in the wrong town, man. You're in Philadelphia. They will punch you in the face.
Yeah, that's the wrong town to do that in. You just got to be, honestly, you're wearing another jersey, just shut up. Just sit down and shut up, and especially if you win. If you win.
100%. And what is so funny about it is, what were you expecting in this interaction? It released a bunch of articles that people are like, oh, is it getting too tough? And I'm like, no, that guy acted like an asshole and got punched in the head because he was an asshole. I don't really, whatever, that kind of stuff happened. And I'm sure he'll survive. You know what I mean? I don't think he's, died. It's fine. But yeah, so I had to include that because that got passed around a lot of this guy just getting punched in the nose.
I did not see that. Damn. Damn.
Yeah. I also want to talk about people just writing articles, because we're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline, so we're starting to see more and more rumors about who's getting moved and whatever. And what is it with excuse me, what is it with players now seemingly going I can't work with this guy, one of us has got to go? That feels like now between Pettersson and Miller, which we've known now for 2 straight years, and now we're talking about Pasternak and Marchand, because Marchand said something 3 months ago, and Pasternak's I'm not playing with him. And you're like, whoa, we're having trouble scoring, man.
I didn't even see this.
Yeah, they supposedly that is what's going around, even to the point that Elliot Friedman kind of touched on it, but didn't say it specifically in the last podcast.
See, it's funny when the Leafs are losing. I don't want to touch any fucking other NHL news.
Oh yeah, right.
And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I saw the thing about Marchand, who berated the radio host for saying something like this, but I didn't see the whole Pasternak doesn't want to play with him.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's not all sunshine and roses in Boston this year. It's really nice.
No, that old structure that they had, for so long, it seems to be falling apart a little bit, which, so be it. That's fine.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
please.
I'm not
about time.
Yeah, seriously. So I don't know. That's just, it is funny where we go, grow up and get over yourself. I'm like, they're coworkers. Everyone has coworkers they don't like. That's just life. Whatever. So I do. I just think that's funny now that it's two pretty high-profile players too.
So it's interesting with Marchand because, like, obviously he's their captain. I doubt he's going to get traded, but I mean, he's on an expiring deal. He has not signed an extension yet. It's not like out of this world money. He can be moved. It is something interesting to look if you're like, if they keep falling and playing like shit going into March, does that start making some noise? Like Brad Marchand on the move.
God, I wonder where he would go. That is so interesting.
You know who he was a fan of growing up?
Montreal?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
No way, really? I didn't know that.
There's that clip of him being like, there's the clip of him being like, and my favorite team growing up was the Toronto Maple Leafs, like on like Hockey Night in Canada.
That's so funny.
But no, we don't have room for him.
No. Oh, God, no, absolutely not. I know, and every time, we'll probably have more of a trade deadline talk, in the next couple of weeks. But even the Leafs being tied to Scott Laughton of the Philadelphia Flyers is so funny because now we're starting to do that thing. We need a third-line center. I think that's pretty clear that is the number one thing we need. Yes, if we get a defenseman, that's awesome. We need a third-line center. And they're like, Scott Laughton is kind of a center. And you're like, fuck. No, don't do this. Like, we did this with Ryan Riley last time. Like, this, we need a center. Like, that's a real center person. Like, enough of this. So,
like Jonathan Taves.
Yeah. That's why it's third, not second. We are so ready to move that guy to a wing. It's crazy. Playing great. It's so stupid.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. I think that's all the time we have today. Yeah. But if you made it this far, we appreciate the hell out of all you good buds. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get our heads out of our asses and go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.
When you're back down, in Mexico, I hope you feel better like you wanted to then. I know we haven't talked.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it.